Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I certainly hope you are well. We've got a bit of sunshine today, yay! I think you can probably see my cheek looks pale. That's because as the sun is sort of landing on the floor, that light is bouncing up again. It's gorgeous. And of course, because it's a south facing window, I've got the sun on the window all day. It just helps to bring the temperature up. Oh, it's brought it up about 4 degrees since early this morning. Fantastic. It just makes it comfortable and doable. Right, my lovelies. So, I thought I'd catch you up on my little day yesterday. So excited to show you something. But it didn't start quite as planned. So you may remember a few videos back, I was mentioning sleep. I was talking about that book and how I finally succumbed to my own sleep pattern and trying to ignore the rest of the world and do what's right for my body by just letting myself go to sleep at 2, 3 in the morning when I'm ready to. And ideally, I'd like to live without an alarm clock, wake up after 10, 11, whatever. But of course, work things, there are some things which I do need to do in that kind of 9 to 5 time. Not my own work, I can work at 2 in the morning. But there are, you know, calls that need to be made, emails that need to be sent or replied to, etc. So I do normally set my alarm for 9 a.m. So if I've gone to bed at 2, hopefully I don't get 7 hours sleep, but I might get 5, 5.5. I'd like more. Anyway, yesterday, or should I say the night before, I forgot to set my alarm clock. So I actually had a bit of an early night. I went to bed at 1, woohoo! Forgot to set the alarm clock. Woke up bleary-eyed and I thought, oh, I've woken up before the alarm for once. And then thought, hang on, it's quite light. It was just after 12 noon. Crikey, 11 hours. Oh, it felt good though. And it did make me think, maybe I'm more of a 10, 11 hour sleeper. It's just not possible though, is it? I don't think any of us have got time to sleep for 10 or 11 hours, but gosh, it felt delicious. But then I had that straightaway thing of that little, not panic as such, but oh, flip, I've got to get a rush on now. Because I'd got my whole day planned out, and my whole day, the plan had been for a day starting at 9. So, like quick, jumped out of bed, didn't think twice about it, got myself dressed, right, get on the computer, start my day. Because generally speaking, I go on the computer first thing, deal with any comments, messages, emails, etc., etc. Hopefully get all of that done in about an hour, then get on with other things. And then I might come back to the computer later on in the day. But yeah, that's my morning routine. So turn the computer on, I'm doing all my usual bits and bobs and emails. Done, great. One that I couldn't attend to there and then, it's all house moving stuff still. Couldn't attend to it there and then, but added it to my list of what I needed to do in the day. Excellent, done. Went on to Facebook, answered messages, done. Went on to YouTube, answered all my comments, done. Then after that, I check all my bank accounts. Remember I was saying this is a habit of mine that I don't know when I got into the habit in the last few years. I just quickly check all my accounts each morning just so I can, you know, if something is wrong, I can jump on it straight away, as happened once a couple of years ago with one of my accounts. Someone had, I don't know how people hack into accounts. I don't know how they do it, but someone had used my account to pay their council tax bill. Anyway, so checking my bank accounts, and it's the day when my YouTube revenue gets put into my account. Yay! And then I looked at the figure and I thought, that doesn't seem right. That seems too low. Because, so this is for October. This is my revenue for October. And it was quite a good month. It was about 700 730 quid, which is a really good month. So I live on my 500. That means there's 230 to go into savings. Yay. But it came up, I've written it down here, it came up as 660, and I thought, why, that's like 70 quid too short. What's gone on? And then, oh, the penny dropped almost instantly. I'm kicking myself, and I'm annoyed. Every 4 years, we have to fill in sort of declaration forms. It's to do with tax. And because I guess Google and AdSense and all of that, the money bit, I think it's owned by an American company. So every 4 years I fill in a form to declare my tax status as being British. We have a tax treaty with America. So when I'm earning the money in the UK, even though it's an American company, I don't get taxed in America, I get taxed in the UK. And because I earn so little, I actually pretty much don't pay tax. I mean, I pay my national insurance and all that, of course, voluntary contributions, but I don't, I certainly don't need to be paying tax to America. And that's what's happened. So this pesky form, I'd filled it in about 2 weeks before because I was coming up for my 4-year anniversary since I last filled it in. I know people were mentioning this to me earlier in the year. I've been doing this for a long time. I know that I need to fill in those tax forms. We have the same with Ireland. That's all done. And I guess because it only comes around every 4 years, one forgets how to fill that form in. And I'm not scared of tax forms and that sort of thing. Look, all the time I was an actor, I was self-employed. I did all my own accounts and all my own tax. Easy peasy. Then at the bookshop, when I was basically running the gaff, I did all the accounts for the business. I did the payroll. I did all the tax. It doesn't bother me. And now I am considered self-employed again. I do all my own accounts. I do all my own tax. This is, it's not weird stuff. It's not scary stuff. I mean, it's scary in terms of you want to get it right. Certainly I want to get my tax bill, my UK tax bill right, because I don't want to accidentally make a mistake and underpay, and then they think I'm a criminal and they cart me off to prison for underpaying by a quid. But yeah, these forms, because they only come round every 4 years, I thought, I bet that's what it is. I bet I've ticked one box incorrectly, and so they've taxed me in the States. So now in America, you've got 70 quid of my money to spend on what does your tax go on? Your highways and roads, or your army. So I'm paying for one of your soldiers, or, whatever. So, yeah, I immediately went back to the tax form bit. It's not on YouTube. It's a completely different place you have to go to do it. Opened up to see that last form I'd done, it was like approved, and I thought, yeah, hang on. And fortunately there's a button next to it that says submit a new form. So I went back over the form really carefully. Bear in mind, I've had a good night's sleep, brilliant, it's the first time in a long time, but I'd got out of bed with I'd sort of bolted out of bed in a state of shock of like, oh my goodness, it's gone noon. I'm in a hurry because I need to go out to do things. But I just thought, I'm going to tackle this tax form now. On the top of the page it says, allow 15 to 20 minutes. And I thought, I don't care about the rest of the day. I am not losing so much tax. It's about 10%. Yeah, I'm not... I earn so little. I don't want to be losing tax on that little that I earn, so I prioritised it. Anyway, the long and the short is, there was one little section, I hope to God I've got it right now, and I thought, ooh, is that what I slightly misunderstood a couple of weeks ago when I was filling it in? It's so unclear. But in any case, the bit where I know a couple of weeks ago I hovered over it for a while thinking, oh, is this right? Oh, I'm not sure. Is this what I did 4 years ago? Tick. That's the bit I've changed. And so hopefully, I've got it right now. And at the same time, there was another little form to fill in to say, I've been taxed erroneously. Please, can I have that money back? Yeah, it's absurd. You know, there are some months, there was 1 month this year, my YouTube, I earned 325 quid. That's what I mean about you have to average these out. So to lose 10% of that, 325, it's going to take me to 290. So taxed on that, that's it, I can't pay my bills. So, hoping, praying, fingers crossed firmly that I have now got that right. But it just shows, doesn't it, that even with all my years of experience of doing accounting and tax forms and what have you, just the tiniest little error. I mean, it's partly because, like I said, this form comes from America and the language is different, and I don't mean literally, it's in English, but just terms and that sort of thing, terminology. Oh, please say I've got it right. Anyway, so having got that out of the way, and I'm pretty sure, I'm about sort of 90% sure that I've done it right now. Just have to wait till next month, see if I lose a chunk of my revenue again. But yeah, that was quite a relief, and I thought, right, now I can get on with my day. I had to go to the post office, I had to go out and about, using buses again. And I've just checked this morning, I checked my Oyster card amount, what's left on there, because I might have to take a bus again today for something else. And I took 3 buses yesterday, and I managed to do 2 within an hour, so it's only £1.75, yay. And then my third bus, the coming home bus, the Oyster card reader was bust, completely broken. So the driver, she was just waving us all on. It's like, yay, free bus ride. These little things make a difference to my day. So yeah, £1.75 less than I was expecting to fork out yesterday. So yes, first stop was the post office. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. First stop was the post office, and of course the queues are just starting to get a bit longer now. I guess people are starting to send Christmas greetings and Christmas gifts through the post, especially if it's going overseas. And I sort of prepared for that. I'm prepared for the fact that it might be a bit of a queue. I've got a book in my bag anyway, so if it's a long queue, I'll just whip my book out and read. And I can't wait to tell you about that book, but that'll wait till another day because I've got another one to tell you about. So I don't mind long queues per se. My knees mind it a bit. My knees don't like standing still. They'd rather be walking. They'd rather be sitting with making no effort. But anyway, I'm going to have a little grrr moment. I think Brits, we're sort of famous around the world for queuing. If 2 people are standing somewhere, it's like, oh, what's this queue for? I'll stand in the queue. You never know. What's it for? I don't know, but I'm going to queue. Yeah, we are a nation of queuers. We're quite good queuers. We're orderly, we're polite usually. Now to me, a queue is when you stand directly behind someone, maybe I would say 2 feet away, unless it's a nightclub and you're all young and already a bit, preloaded, then you're all like mashed together. But in a post office, I think at least 2 feet, preferably 3 feet, but you're in a line, one behind the other, one behind the other, one behind the other. One of my real pet hates is people who queue on my shoulder. They don't want to stand behind me, they want to stand to the side of me and almost right up next to me. So my peripheral vision, this person, it's like, what do you do? Get behind me, get in the queue. And then in the post office, the queue, it goes quite slowly, so there's never any rush to kind of keep moving up the queue. This is what happened to me yesterday. The woman in front started moving forward, and I'd got my bag of parcels on the floor, so I bent to pick them up, and the person who was at the side, who'd been queuing almost at the side of me, stepped forward, and they were ahead of me. I thought, no, sorry, I'm not having this. So I got my I took a step forward and I put my walking stick out to this side as if to say, you're not going to sneak. What are you doing? Stop sneaking. And I can hear your breath and I can feel your breath. Give me some. This is how I end up with a cold. I end up with a cold for no other reason than people don't know how to queue and people don't give me personal space or each other personal space. It winds me up. I know, in the grand scheme of things it's nothing, but it became a bit of a game in the end. So the bag of books, so I'd been reading a book, so I put my book away, held the bag of books off the ground so I didn't have to bend and pick them up. And every time the woman in front of me moved, I thought, I'm going to move really slowly and see if you dare try and overtake me, try and jump the queue. Anyway, got all that done, hopped on the bus, and then this is the bit that I'm so excited to share with you. So it's not quite time for treats for a tenner for me. That's coming though. Yay, can't wait. And I am going to do it's not a treats for a tenner. I am going to do another £20 shop for the food bank of food, a £10 shop of kind of toiletries and things for the food bank, and a £10 shop of chocolates and sweets for the food bank for the kids. So I'm going to do that I'm going to try and do that this week actually, so that it's all at the food bank in good time. Now, when I showed that to you, is it 2 years ago now? With the food shop, I got masses of stuff. I did it all at Lidl. I got masses of stuff, but it was all like the cheapest in the range. So let's say something like tinned tomatoes at Lidl. There are 3 different price bands, like there are most supermarkets. You've got your named brand, your swanky ones. You've got your supermarket own brand, which are quite a bit cheaper. And then you've got the budget range, the cheapest of cheap. So when I did that food shop then for, don't misunderstand, this isn't me going to a food bank and getting food for myself. This is me buying food to donate to the food bank. That's what I'm talking about. So when I did it all with all the budget stuff. And I thought this year, well, hang on a minute. Maybe let's go up a brand. Let's go to the middle brand. So I won't be able to get quite as much, but just get stuff that's just a little bit better. I mean, I think the quality of the budget stuff, because I use it myself, the budget stuff, I think the quality is absolutely fine. But I just think most of us, when we're doing shopping for a food bank, we try and get as much as we can. We go for that cheaper stuff. And I'm just thinking that if I was using a food bank, if every time I went to the food bank, I mean, I would be grateful, of course. But when it's all those budget items, so I'm going to go a little bit better, higher budget this time. But also, you know, I might go and do a recce, I'm not sure. But I was thinking, you know, normally we think of things like the tins of pulses. I always put chickpeas into the food bank. Tins of pulses, tins of tomatoes, tins of pasta sauce, bags of pasta. And it makes sense to get those store-covered staples. But if we all do that all the time, it gets a bit boring for whoever's in receipt of the donation, doesn't it? So I'm going to just try and think a little bit outside the box this year and find some stuff that yes, of course, it's food and it's useful, but maybe not just the bog standard pasta sauce, rice, what have you. I mean, I'll get some of that stuff anyway. Oh, I don't know yet. I'll have to go that's why I need to go and do a recce. I want to make the 20 quid go as far as possible, but nice food for someone who's, you know, at the food bank getting real budget stuff all the time. I'm trying to do something nicer. So that's to come. But in the meantime, I'm so excited about this. In the meantime, I decided for the toy drive this year that I would do 2 £10 toys. And look, I don't normally do the whole gender thing of like a toy for a boy and a toy for a girl, but I've kind of accidentally fallen into that. So one of the reasons I went on the bus was to go toy shopping. Oh my goodness. And I knew before I set off, what I'd thought about the night before was, what were the things that I really wanted when I was a kid but never got? So with that mindset of trying to think, okay, what is a toy that a kid might want this Christmas but their mum or their dad or mum and dad or whoever their carer guardian is just can't afford? So I'm gonna get weepy about this, because I really hope this makes a difference to some kid on Christmas Day, because I know it would have made a difference to me on Christmas Day. So I had 20 quid to spend, but I also checked, having said the other day about the Superdrug card, getting a Superdrug card for the first time, I do have a Nectar card, which is for Sainsbury's. I mean, I rarely use it. I quite often just forget. I don't go to Sainsbury's much, you know, I do most of my shopping at Lidl, but occasionally I go to Sainsbury's and I never think about those Nectar card points. When did I last spend any? It's probably a couple of years ago. Sometimes I get a surprise and I think, oh, I've got £10 of points, and go and buy some knickers, you know, stock up on basics. Anyway, so I looked, I had I think it was £5.50. I've gone with 5 quid. So I thought, okay, so I've got 20 quid for toys, but actually I've got another 5 quid, so I can do 25. So I went to the big Sainsbury's near me. We used to have one of those big out of town toy stores. I'm not going to mention their name, I'm not going to promote them, but that closed and is now a massive pet shop. So Sainsbury's is the nearest place for me to go to find toys. So off I went. I could have bought everything, literally, just all these shelves and shelves of toys, apart from Lego. Wow, Lego's expensive. It was really hard to choose, and there was stuff I wanted for me. games and things. Anyway, so what I've gone with, and yeah, it is a bit gender, but there we go. So I would have loved when I was a child, this might not be appropriate for a city kid, who knows, maybe it will be. I would have loved when I was a kid anything for playing farms. Isn't that fantastic? So it's a tractor and a trailer, and look, hold on a sec, let me show you on the back. Look, the trailer tips up. Look, you can put 2 hay bales in there and then tip it up. I'm going to play with this myself. Oh, I'm pulling the... Stop it, Vivi. Don't break it before you've given it to a kid. Oh, it's got batteries in there. What's it for? It says, oh, it lights up and it makes sound. If that makes the sound of a tractor, I want it myself. But that, I hope, is going to make some kid... It might be a girl. Look, I'm a girl and I wanted farm stuff. So I think some little kid, hopefully on Christmas morning, is going to open... It's going to open that and they'll be really happy with it. Oh, flipping heck. This isn't supposed to be an emotional one. Anyway, hold on, we need a dab. It's not much, is it? It's not much, but what I mean is, it doesn't take much for any of us to just spread a bit of joy, you know, or with the food. Food isn't joy, it's basic, isn't it? But that's what I mean about trying to do something a bit different this year and make it a bit more special. So that's my boy taken care of, or girl. And then this for a little girl, because I so wanted, not this exact thing, but I wanted this category of toy. Yes, it's a baby doll, and you can feed her and then she wets herself. I mean, isn't that what we all wanted? Well, I so wanted a baby doll when I was little. And the dolls that wet themselves, they were just coming onto the market, I think, when I was a kid. So the idea of a doll that would wet itself, so a baby doll, that's a real baby then, isn't it? I can feed my baby and change its nappy. Oh, she's so cute. Look at that little face. Now, what was great... So the tractor and trailer, they were on offer. It's actually on clearance. So I don't know how much they should have been. It should have been. But 10 quid. Brilliant. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a lot. Like I said, hopefully it'll make some kid happy. Baby doll, 10 quid. But the baby doll had an offer on. Buy 2 for 15 quid. So remember what I said about my nectar points? So that would mean 25 quid. So I could do that with my 20 quid and my £5 of nectar points. So, twins. Well, they're not quite twins. So I specifically bought a black baby and a white baby because the demographic of my area, we're about half and half. So, yeah, chuffed. They're so cute. They've got a potty. You can't quite see in here, but it includes a bib and a bottle, and then down here a potty. Oh, do you have to put her on the potty to make her wee? She not got a nappy. There we go. That's what's included. Oh, and like I said with the tractor, I think if when I was a kid, if I got that for Christmas, I would have been, oh, I just ripped the cover. Oh, shoot. Just pulled the cardboard. Oops, shoot. Yeah, if I'd had that when I was a kid, when I was a little girl, I would have been beside myself with joy. I would have spent the rest of the day nursing her, making a bed for her. I might have made the cardboard box into a little cot for her, find a bit of fabric to make a cover for her. I would be away and happy with just that. So that's the hope this year with my contribution to our toy drive. I think the black baby's got a better outfit as well than the white baby. Yeah. Can I keep one of them? Oh, I want to play with the tractor as well. So, yeah, I was there, and there was a big bucket of farm animals, and I was like, I want the bucket of farm animals. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But there we go. Anyway, so hopefully that's going to be. We don't wrap them. We just take them, and I think don't wrap them because they want to see. They are going to look at age and gender, but there we go. Anyway, right, I need to blow my nose because that's got me all, whoa. That's better. Oh, goodness me. Right, so I'm going to rattle through a couple of books. So I've only not had it that long, but I got round to reading Wintering by Catherine May. This was sent to me by Joy. Thank you so much, lovely. Sent me the lovely watercoloured bookmark. This book was not what I was expecting, and I don't know, if I'd known what to expect, I might have had a different approach to the book. I was expecting this to be a book about winter, specific, actual winter, the cold months. I was expecting it to be a book about sort of, say, the natural world, what animals and trees, how they survive winter, because it's about sort of surviving and flourishing in winter. So in the natural world, how do animals and plants survive winter? I thought it might be a bit about people in other lands. So I'm thinking of our Scandinavian friends, you know, how do they manage, etc., etc. There was a tiny, tiny little bit in there about the Sami people of, they're in the far north, Norway, Finland, Russia. Nomadic reindeer herds people. But it wasn't. And the winter it's more sort of metaphorical than literal. It's wintering in terms of this woman's sort of, you know, she has bouts of depression almost, or anxiety, and retreats into herself, and she winters in her head. And that wasn't what I was up for reading. It's not that I don't care about people's mental health. Of course I do. But I don't want to read a book about, you know, and then I had my baby and then I felt down and then my baby grew up and then, you know, as a boy he didn't like snow and that really upset me and that made me down, and it was too much her life. And I don't know who she is. I have absolutely no vested interest in her, if you like. What did I make any notes on? There was a tiny bit about wolves. I liked that. A tiny bit about cold water sea bathing. Liked that, obviously. There were little glimpses. I think she lives in Whitstable on the North Kent coast, which is a couple of towns along from where Auntie Teapot lived. So there's mentions of Whitstable and Canterbury and Manston Airport. You have to be local to know that. It's a little tiny airport. But I just felt... So, for example, you know, recently I told you about the Running Hare book by John Lewis Stemple, and how gorgeous his writing is when he's talking about nature. With her, there was for example, there's a description of a murmuration, which I'm sure most of you know what a murmuration is. It's when, I think it's generally starlings, I don't know if other birds do it, but literally hundreds of them gather together in the air, and they're flying together, and they change direction and they swift. So it looks like this thing in the sky, it actually looks like one being, it's moving as one, but it's made up of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of individual birds. So she's trying to describe it, but it felt... I didn't feel like she was really feeling it. I felt like she was kind of trying to put something on it. Whereas with John Lewis Stemple, you can tell that it's what he's getting from it, and it just feels so real and true, and it really resonates with him. What I wrote about, I made a note on that, is to say that I felt that hers was imposed, it was kind of forced somehow. I didn't believe the moment, whereas with him, I utterly believe the moment with him. What did I say? Oh yeah, it felt like she was forcing profundity. She's trying so hard to be profound, and it just isn't. It was all style, no substance for me. And actually not much style either. So for me, thank you so much for sending that, Miss J. I'm really glad I had the opportunity to read it. But I just thought, not great writing, not great subject matter, and just this trying. It was a real try-hard book, really trying to be sort of somehow important and profound and meaningful and deep. And it just wasn't. So... from me. I did read it all though. I kept reading thinking it might get better, and it's a very short, quick read anyway, so I thought, well, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and I'll read it. Oh, right, try and get this one done in 4 or 5 minutes. Keep to my time today. So then I read, and I'm back to happy face, and now the shipping forecast by Peter Jefferson, who actually used to be one of our shipping forecast readers. I know a load of you love the shipping forecast. I know that you all know that I love it. Oh, it says, the subtitle is A Tide of History Around Our Shores. There's a great quote on the back. What does it say? The shipping forecast is something of a must listen for fans gathered over the decades. For reasons not quite understood, it has become a much loved part of the British cultural landscape, with an avid following of listeners who find its poetry the perfect cure for insomnia. That'll be if you're listening to the 1 o'clock edition. It's 12:48, I think, the one around 1 in the morning. What a fun book. In terms of writing style, it's kind of like, it's how I imagine a grandpa talking to his grandkids. It's very chatty, it's a bit silly in places. It could almost, it's kind of quirky and it's very colloquial and easy and laid back. And that could have possibly irritated me, because he does it a lot. But for the fact that he comes across as very charming, and this subject matter is great. So, my goodness, I made a list of what this book covers in a way. The history of the names of the areas, how they came about, history of weather forecasting, a history of time, there's a bit of Greenwich in there, a history of the Met Office, a history of the men, Fitzroy, Beaufort, the Beaufort scale, a history of the invention of the barometer, an explanation of all the terms that are used in the forecast. So I will now better understand the forecast when I listen to it. A bit of radio and broadcasting history, a lot of naval history, a bit of history on the lighthouses, which reminded me, I was reading about the lighthouses, and it just reminded me, do you remember, and I kept it, that fantastic book for anyone who wasn't with me back then, Sea Shaken Houses by, what's his name, Tom Nancollis, a history of some of our British lighthouses. But it just reminded me again of that astonishing, crazy feat of engineering a lot of our rock lighthouses are. So it covers a huge array of things. But when you think about it, they all come back to the same thing, don't they? It's all about, so history of time, history of weather. It's all about getting that forecast done. Not just for those of us who are lying in bed listening to the poetry of it, but more importantly, for our fishermen, sailors, whoever. It's an absolute delight. I mentioned that there's quite a lot of naval history because there's a couple of chapters where he goes around the entire shipping forecast area by area and gives a brief history of that area and perhaps how it came to be named, what it's named. And of course, it's inevitable that is going to involve a lot of naval history. We are a seafaring nation. We are a nation of sailors, navy, and fishermen. I say fishermen, sorry, there are some fisherwomen too. So yeah, there's mentions of the Cod Wars, of course. It's a really fun, quick read. Shall I put it in my shop? Does it fit anywhere in my shop? Because it's in beautiful condition. I looked after it. I might put it in the shop because I think someone would dig it. Oh, and there's a really fun section as well. But you see some pages are quite scant. That's why it's such a quick read. Of where various expressions, sayings come from, and they all relate to the sea. So, as the crow flies, at loggerheads, between the devil and the deep blue sea, which I'm sure a lot of you know, chewing the fat, down the hatch, Dutch courage, groggy, I feel a bit groggy today, no great shakes, I didn't know that one, 3 sheets to the wind, eat my hat, let the cat out of the bag, press into service, and it goes on, ship shape and Bristol fashion, splicing the main brace. It's a really fun read, I think, in terms of just as a really quick, simple sort of overview of British maritime history. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's done in a nutshell. So really interesting bits about early telegraph and the beginning of radio broadcasting, and interesting about time and all the Greenwich stuff. Loved it. Highly recommend it. That would be, I think this would be the perfect Boxing Day read if the weather is so inclement, you're not being dragged out for the dreaded Boxing Day walk. Ugh. If you've got somewhere you can curl up nice and snug under a blanket, read that on Boxing Day afternoon. Loved it. Thank you, Peter Jefferson. It's really, really, this style is incredibly laid back, but I think it works. It just about works. It's fine. And with that, and here it endeth the shipping forecast, and we should now have the pips, shouldn't we? Pip, 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 pip. And now we hand over to the British BBC, what is it? Now we hand over to BBC World Service. Love it. Oh, I want to go to bed now and listen to the shipping forecast later. All right, lovelies, I will catch up with you again soon. I'm going to go off now and rock my baby. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, she moves. Look, she's waving bye-bye. Bye-bye. Right, stop it, Vivi. It's not yours. It's not yours to play with, Vivi. I want to play with it. All right, lovelies. I will see you again really soon. I hope, not sure for what, but I will see you then. Until then, please look after yourselves. The sun's moving around. I just suddenly feel like I'm in the shady corner and I'm getting chilly. I need a jumper. See you soon. Cheerio.